Good evening and welcome to Tuesday at Two Lines. My name is Marty Ford. Most of you know me who are tuning in. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in on Tuesdays. Look forward to it. Had kind of a crazy day, a very busy week so far at work. But today was a good slot car day. And there's a lot behind that, but I had some awesome conversations. Some I can talk about, some I can't talk about. But that's the fun part for me. Really enjoying the hobby at the moment. So good stuff. Got Two Line Speedway behind me. It's been kind of a. Did anybody tell Marty what? Kurt, I'm live, buddy. I just saw your text. So yeah, I submitted the post out there and it posted it as private. That's why you didn't see it come out until late. Today was a day. It's a fun day. I had to work the cattleman's booth at the Fairfield County Fair here in Ohio. And which means I made cheeseburgers and ribeye steak sandwiches all afternoon. And that made me a little late getting home, and I feel a little ill-prepared for the live stream, but hey, we're here. We made it. So Brett Wise is in the house. Hey, Brett. Chris Frater is in the house. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Marty, awesome that you came to Cincy Slots last week. This month, I have so much going on. I don't know if that I'll make it to Cincy Slots. I thought I would make it this week, and that's not shaping up. I apologize to my brother if he's on. Two of my favorite classes were running this month, and I don't know if I can make space in my schedule. So we'll see. I will find out more tomorrow, but sorry I missed you, Marty. It would have been great to meet up. Glad you got to meet some of the guys. That's awesome. Gary, congrats on winning the Super Tires Revo Slot RX-7 and some tires to go with that. Congratulations. Sent me a picture. He got that car yesterday, it looks like. So congrats. Hope you enjoy it. Fantastic car. But I've been busy. Hey, Vince. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Hey, Robert. Looks like a full house tonight. Well, wow, we're already at 61 and we're 3 minutes in. That's pretty awesome. Daniel, good evening. Hope you're doing well, Daniel. Thanks for being here. Roast Coffee and Super Tires. That's right. Yep. Shout out to Super Tires. Before we get too deep into this, a big thank you to Pamela for reaching out to me and wanting to collaborate. We've kind of reached the end of the giveaways, but she did send me a message this week, or actually it was last week, and said that she might have another surprise for us when a particular car comes out. And so she may do another giveaway on the channel, which is awesome. So hopefully, excuse me, when that comes out, Super Tires will have another giveaway on the channel. But it's been wonderful collaborating with them and, sponsoring the channel and being a partner. Just shout out to them. They've been awesome. Really enjoyed the whole time, and we'll continue to work together in the future. And so, I still got the sign. This camera shot. I'm a little zoomed in. Hang on. Let me zoom out so you can see, we still got the Super Tire banner flying high. So thanks. I really appreciate it, Pamela. You guys are awesome. And it's been fun. So I'm sure we'll get to do lots more down the road. So who else do we have in the chat? Excuse me. Jerry is in the chat. Hey, Doug. Thanks for being here. Hi, folks from the road. We are in Champlain, Illinois. We have seen a big bunch of the USA for the past 3.5 weeks. Been a great trip, though. Awesome. Shout out to, why is that so high on that channel? There we go. Our buddy John Mark is in an RV with his wife celebrating their anniversary, traveling around out west and sending some pictures. It's been awesome. So shout out to him. I doubt that he's on this evening, but if he is, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your vacation, buddy. Hey, Roger, good evening. Hey, Sean, welcome. Chris, thanks for being here, Chris. Wow, the chat got busy. Where are you going with it? I don't know what that means. Hey, John. Hey, Hank. Lots of people in the house tonight. Thanks for being here. Hey, Steve. Hey, Steve W. Hey, James. Go Bengals. Boy, the Bengals. Man. Joe Flacco, huh? I don't know what kind of move that is. Hey, Harry. Hey, Mike. Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. David. Brett. Yeah, Brett. I'm glad you're here, man. No worries. Hey, Rick. Greetings from Tampa. Rick, we head down on the 23rd. And it's such a busy week. I've got a bunch of family coming in. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do any slot car racing. Maybe we will see, but I kind of have my doubts. So, but I have a white kit. It's a NSR C7, but I've got an order that I need to finish and get out. So hopefully before I head down, I will have maybe a body for you, a white kit body. So Rick does an awesome job painting cars, and he's offered to paint a livery on a car for me if I give him a white kit, which I think is awesome. And I think that's fun. So, Rick, thanks for tuning in tonight. Glad you're here. Hey, Alan. Good evening. Hey, Eric. Hey, B-Rads. Yeah, we got the whole crew in tonight. This is great. George, as you can see, on display here, some Area 51 Raceway and Shotgun Dave and Home Racing World, the 3A 3D guys, sent me a few of these setup blocks. And George, thanks for sending that. Hey, Highway, thanks for tuning in. And ladies and gentlemen, Oscar, shout out to Oscar. I got a package from Oscar today. I got home and actually yesterday, sorry. I got a package from Oscar yesterday, and I didn't know this was coming. We'll talk about that in a minute. But as you know, Oscar has Slot Invasion, has some amazing products, and he sent me something that I am super excited to talk about. So we'll get to that. But 3A 3D, guys, they sent me a handful of these. I posted a video on Saturday. If you go like that video and comment what you would do with a setup block, we're gonna give a couple of these away. All right. So, and the color will be a surprise because they all look great. But the setup block is awesome. It's going to live here on my bench. I have this setup block that I usually put in my pit box, and it travels around with me. Daryl gave me a setup block from Bruce. That's Corian, that lives on my bench here as well, right here. And it's an awesome setup block. And then it actually is routed for like wood track. So you can get your guide and braids set lower if you need to. So I've got a few setup blocks, but this one's fantastic. I like the organizer piece to it, and it will live right here, and I'll operate off of that because I like what it provides. So cool stuff. So shout out. We'll be giving away some of those. We'll get back to Oscar's stuff that he sent me that we'll check out and we'll talk about here shortly. And then I'm probably going to do a video, if that's all right. Oscar, I really want to dig in and do an install with them. And some other channels have already posted about them, but I appreciate you sending me those to take a look at. So, guys, if you have not bought any Slot Invasion products, Oscar does an amazing job in the hobby, is very, very kind and generous. I know he's working with the 3A3D guys. It's what I have on the VW Bug, as you can see. Slot Invasion guide on that as we're running laps. Love those guides. They do a great job. So thank you. There's Shotgun Dave in the house. What's up? Dave posted a video. Dave stepped up his video game, man. The camera, the OBSBot cameras, guys, I'm telling you, I'm hoping to pick up at least one more, maybe two more. It just depends, so that we can just nail the coverage in the Nationals. And I've got the Eastern Nationals coming up, the NSR Eastern Nationals in November. So I've got some announcements about that that I'm pretty excited about. And yeah, so we'll touch on that a little bit later. Roast coffee, the official coffee of Tuesday at Two Lines. I had a cup this morning from my espresso machine. It was fantastic. Hey, White Wolf. Eric, glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in. Ernest, did you get your sign? I don't know if I missed that last night. I was, shout out to Joe and Jen at Herreras Carrera, their Monday night live stream. They invited me to be the host. And so they put me on the screen, and I kind of read through the comments and poked fun at them while they raced. I had a great time. But like most times, the best part of that evening may have been after the live stream was over and Joe and I had a chance to catch up and talk a lot about some things. But on that stream, I made an announcement sort of about the channel. And as you see, I've got a large Carrera layout. And I love this Carrera layout, but I've been in an undisclosed area in this basement. I've been working on a top secret project, building another slot car track. Maybe we will take a sneak peek at it tonight. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what the chat wants to do. But Ernest, hopefully you got your sign. Let me know. Hey, Thomas, thanks. I got your email. I apologize. I've been so stinking busy. It's been difficult for me to keep up with a bunch of messages. So I owed a lot of people a lot of email responses this week. Thomas sent me one last week during the live stream, and I acknowledged it. I just didn't get a chance to respond, but I appreciate what you did. That's awesome. And I understand. Thank you. Let's see who else, just to make sure that we don't miss anybody. Hey, Chris McFarland. Rick is busy building NSR F1 cars for the NSR Western Nationals. Yes, they're running F1. The Eastern Nationals will be running the NSR Classics and the NSR GT class. They do two classes at that race, which makes for a long, busy day. But we're going to cover it, and we're going to cover it all. Hey, Kurt, glad you're here. Thanks. Appreciate being here. Hey, Greg. Like I said, Greg, to Rick, I'm getting down there I'm driving down on the 23rd. So I'll be there probably late. We'll probably leave early. And I think we're planning to drive straight through. We have an Airbnb that evening. My kids are flying in that evening. Once we found that out, my wife did not want to take 2 days to drive down. So we will get there sometime on the evening of 23rd. So Steve Holzman, shout out to Steve. Steve, you guys know, we had on a few weeks ago. Well, actually had him on last week too, as part of the TD slot sport that won the 6-hour Michigan race. And not to belabor that race, but that was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it, and I appreciate you guys sticking it out for the coverage, all of the coverage that we've had over the last 3 weeks. It's been good, and I appreciate that. But I think one of the things that you guys would love to see is a breakdown of that car. And Steve, I think, sent that car with my brother, and I haven't been able to meet up with Dusty. We didn't meet up this weekend. So Dusty has the winning car from the 6-hour race, and we're going to break that down here on the channel. So Steve's we're going to bring him on, and he's going to talk about how he tuned the car, how he attacked the Scale Auto track so that we can help everyone out there. We see Ian Douglas do that with his winning cars. We've seen Marco do that with his cars that win races out there at Electric Dreams. And I think that's high quality content. And I think that since I've gravitated towards the racing side of covering it with live streams, and then just myself enjoying racing at the club level, and then a couple of nationals races to this point, I've got some ideas on how to make that coverage better. And one of the things is breaking down those winning cars so that you can see them, inside them, see what guys are doing, because we want this to be an information share. We want people to be able to improve. We want people to enjoy coming to a race like that. And if you're a beginner, walking into a race like that is very intimidating. How do you get through tech? So we've got some ideas on how to make that happen. But Steve is going to come on. We're going to record a breakdown of that car. He's going to talk through everything, what he did, how he tuned it, how he attacked the track, what he, kind of the process in his mind, how he made that car fast. And I think it's awesome to see that kind of transparency. And, we want everybody to enjoy the hobby, and enjoying the hobby is, learning how to tune a car and how to do it well and how to make your car fast. And then I've got some ideas on how to help people improve their driving and things that we can do by picking, Steve's brain and Greg's Kessler's brain and Kurt DeMars and some of the best drivers I know that I have a personal relationship with, Ian and Todd and those guys. We want to help people get better, because I think if you continue to improve, you just get more enjoyment out of this, and that's the purpose. That's the purpose. And we know that not everybody wants to race, and there's no judgment here on that. I appreciate that. If you just want to run at home, but all of these concepts work on every track, right? Each track is different, each surface is different, but what I'm saying is like even on your home track, whether it's the club track or your home track, knowing how I made this car go fast and some of the tuning tips that you might be able to take from that. And, especially a car that dominated the 6-hour endurance race, at the Professor Motor and Cloverleaf race, the Scale Auto race. Like, that's good to share that information. So we're going to do that hopefully this week, if I can find some time. So I need to get the car from my brother, and I think that's how Steve sent it to me. But get that car so we can break that down, and I'll try to get that posted this weekend. But I've been working on some other content, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So let me just keep going, make sure I didn't miss anything. Jeffrey Powers, where can I get that setup board? Need to make borders. Can anyone recommend anything else working on wood track? Where can I get that Centra board? I'm not sure if I'm understanding that question, Jeffrey. Need it to make borders. Maybe somebody else understands where you're going there. Nathaniel just got here. Well, welcome. Glad you're here. Scott, good evening, buddy. I always give Scott a shout out. Scott gave the channel like one of the first gifts, and I use it every live stream. and it's a set of microphones, and it's awesome. These are so handy. They work great. They really it was just a nice gift. But buddy, I miss you. And he actually hooked me up with an old computer too, that I run, that he rebuilt for me, and he's very kind. So Scott, man, good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well and work's not too crazy. We miss you, man. Mr. Albright. Well, crap. Lost track of time while laying down some clear on, but I'm here. So John Albright is always working on slot cars. Slot cars are life. John, thanks for tuning in. I have to get back again this Thursday to Cincy Slots to preserve my bottom of the basement position. Marty, it's a rite of passage at Cincy Slots. You'll get better each time. You'll figure it out. The adrenaline usually the first week is pumping, and so maybe you'll be able to calm down a little bit and do even better. So don't stress about it. Glad you were able to. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you got a sense of what I brag about at Cincy Slots all the time. And then I hope that that's the experience that everybody goes and has at clubs everywhere, right? Or when they get a chance to visit a track, a new layout. There's just something fun about that. But yeah, good stuff. Hopefully you had a great time. Daniel asked, Kurt, how are you? Hey, Robert, welcome. Glad you're here. Let's see, who else? We've been working on different things for our 3D printing for the slot car decor. Awesome, Ernest. I just hope that you made, that the kit made it to you safe and sound. Danny, welcome. We give up on the Browns. I understand, Danny. We understand. Blue Water, what's up, John? Shout out to John. John is probably the most helpful person I've ever met. He shows up at Oliver's and has his camper. He's prepped and ready, and he's there all hours trying to make sure that race goes off without a hitch. I appreciate him. He's a great guy. Been lurking in the background, getting some bodies prepped for paint. Man, everybody's working. I'm so far behind. So far behind. How about those Tigers? There you go. Go Detroit, right? DW, welcome. Man, we got a lot of people. 110 people in. Filthy. Thanks for being here. Gosh, this is awesome. I can't, my mom might be watching. That's great. We'll need feedback from everyone who gets one for improvement recommendations. Thanks, George. Yes. Man, I don't know. Like from a feedback standpoint, this thing is fantastic. I really, really dig it. John says, I'd set up a car with it. That's great. I appreciate your sarcasm. I love it. Hey, Bryce. Thanks, man. I was fun last night. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I finished my thought on Joe. Just had a fun time, and he got the win over Jen. Sorry, Jen. You were right there, but they ran sideways cars last night, and they did really, really well. And he pulled out a Thunder slot that he hadn't touched, and so we talked about, he needed the right tool, the T6, to work on Thunder slots, but he needed to introduce some body float, and I think that car will be a rocket, and it immediately broke his track record like 2 laps in, and so he's got something going there. But yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. Bryce, it was good to have you there last night. Thanks for joining. Hey, DG, welcome. Hey, Gary, GT, I never win anything. Well, you never know. You could this time. Randy Holbrook, hey, everyone, trying to put on some decals while watching, not going well. Yeah, Randy, decals can be a challenge, but hang in there. Joey Boots, good evening. Man, Dave Kennedy, welcome. Good to have you. thanks for joining, as always. All right. What else? Slot Car Home Track Hobbyist, good evening. Man, we just got a bunch of people in. Marty has been seduced by the Woodside. Actually, I like the wood oval side. I have to say, like, I'm still a big fan of plastic track. So, yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that a little later. Hey, Gary, no worries. I kind of figured that was a typo. It's all good. Bryce is asking for the sneak peek. All right. Yeah, so I kind of did a little thing. Been working in the top secret lair here at Two Lines, and let's see. Do we have a camera shot? Oh no, that's my existing Carrera track. What about this one? Oh, we've got another track. How about that? That's yeah. Sneak peek. There was your sneak peek. And we'll dive in. We'll dive into that. I may or may not have that car. That car possibly got lost in transit. Steve may never see that car again. Until next year's endurance race. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how that plays out. Hey, Bruce. Thanks for joining. Muffman. Sorry. I was reading too fast. Did I see Rob was in the house? Hey, Rob. TD, there's a box in the mail. Look at that. Sneak peek of your new project, Marty. I already know you talked about it last night, so would like to see it. Yeah. Maybe we'll jump over there and run a few laps. But I am working on a follow-up, a video on it. So, hey, Rerun. Elmer, what's up? Hey, guys and gals. Sorry, I'm late. You're not that late, Kevin. It's all good, brother. It's all good. Danny. Mr. Plastics has Sintra. Okay. Basic tuning skills are a great place to start, and it doesn't cost much. I agree. You can do a lot for free. But as you know, speed costs money. And when you go to a nationals race. So let's talk a little bit about that. I feel like I got through a lot of thank yous and some hellos. Hey, Nick. I mean, I'm 28 minutes in. So white flexible board used. I got a small PC with a wood routing kit for Greg. Oh, cool. I use the lattice, the plastic lattice. That's what all of this guardrail is, most of it on this track and on the new layout. I got that at Lowe's. It's about $7-8 a piece, an 8-foot piece. I think I used 2 pieces for the new layout and probably 6 or 8 pieces for this layout. It holds up really well. I really like how it looks. So that's always an option. As a new racer, I love the idea of breaking down those winning cars. One of the things I love about the slot car community is that willingness to share knowledge. Thanks so much. Chris, it's one of the things that I think there's a group of us, and there's a lot in that group, that feel the same way. The 3 teams that worked together for the endurance race in Michigan that we had on last week, I know that was probably chaos on screen, and it was fun for me. and we gave away some stuff, it was great. But like the reason why that group exists is because they want people to improve and learn, right? So yeah, that's important. What's the best aftermarket guide for Skillectric? All right. There's lots of choices. And not because Oscar's in the chat, I'm going to say this. My favorite aftermarket guide is what you see on just about every one of my cars, and that is the Slot Invasion guides. All right, and since we're there, well, let's go there first. So I got a package from Oscar this week from slotinvasionusa.com. Go out there, check it out. Lots of great. So Joey, to answer your question, my favorite aftermarket guide is Slot Invasion. Okay. It's a great guide. But in this package, when I open it up, always got some swag from Oscar. That's great. Sticker, and we got some Carrera 132nd and 124 5th anniversary. What golf? And we got some golf blue Carrera guides. Fantastic. But also in the package, and I was trying to decide if I was being proposed to or not, are a couple ring boxes. This ring box is the back-mounted Carrera 132nd guide kit. So let's open it up and see. Hopefully that will focus on that when it doesn't see. And guys, this is super, super impressive. So this is a new kit that Slot Invasion has designed that allows you to mount. This is an aluminum. I mean, it's beautiful anodized aluminum bracket that mounts in the chassis that allows you to use a screw-in guide and not use Carrera braid. You can use standard braid. And there is a front mount and a back mount. And that's really the two different types of chassis that Carrera offers. So you can mount this in. I'm going to, this is the back mount. And you can tell because of where the location of the screw holes and how it mounts. I'm going to do a video on installing this, and I'm going to put it. Here's the other one. But first of all, quality product, beautiful, and it's so smooth, and the quality is amazing. But what we're going to do is we're going to install this in the NASCAR, the Carrera NASCAR that I have. And I'll do a video of the installation process. There's already a couple of videos out there. Harry has done one on Home Racing World about these. But I'm telling you what, this is something. I'm not in love with the Carrera guide setup, but I can live with it with the Carrera guides that Slot Invasion makes. They snap in, replace, and they are fantastic. But I would rather run a screw-in guide so that I can control and get it tuned and get the front end set up the way I want. And that's what this is going to allow. So I'll do an in-depth video on these. Oscar, thank you so much. I'll put that out there in the next week or so. And it probably won't be a Saturday. It'll probably come out midweek, maybe next week, because I've got a whole host of things that I'm prepping. But, guys, if that's something you're interested in, you've got a bunch of Carrera cars and you want to make a guide improvement on that Carrera car, go to slotinvasionusa.com. And And you can also get these kits at Slot Car Corner and LEB, and Bruce probably will have them at Cincy Slots. Professor Motor will probably have them, anywhere you can get Slot Invasion parts, and directly from Oscar at slotinvasionusa.com. So awesome. Thanks for sending them out. I really appreciate it. And we're going to get an update about those. So to answer Joey Boots' question, my favorite aftermarket, even if he didn't pay me to say that, he sent these to me to try and to review. My ethics statement, if anybody asks for it, I don't have to make videos on stuff that people send me, but I will make videos on stuff that I believe in and think the product is great. And there hasn't been anything that I haven't seen from Slot Invasion that doesn't qualify for that. So, Oscar, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Go to slotinvasionusa.com. Check out all the slot car hop-up parts and guides for everything. Hey, Lotus 24, welcome. And PVC. That's what I use, the PVC lattice. I really like it. Chris, 108 watching. Yep, awesome. Yeah, we're hovering around that 100 mark tonight. That's awesome. Hopefully visiting my first commercial track this weekend, and I'm stoked. Nathaniel, that's great. Hopefully you get a chance to run some laps on it. Hopefully there's somebody there that will help you with a car, or maybe they've got some rentals and a controller. Because I think that it's, if you make the trip to the track, you got to at least, give it a shot, run some laps. Jannard Jackson, welcome. Thanks for being here. Just got a lot of people in the chat. I think we have 2 Dannys now. Might be time to start calling me Dick now. It's hard, Danny. It's a hard change. Hello, sir. Speaking of tuning, get that slot at GT40 nice and low. Yeah. I wish we had the interactive slot people in Charleston that you have in Ohio. DW, I think that a lot of times you kind of have to make it happen, right? So sometimes you have to go in and you ask questions. Sometimes you have to be transparent yourself and say, hey, I need help. And somebody help me if that's what you need. Share the knowledge you have. DW, you build great cars. You've sent me a handful of cars to test on the oval, and they've all performed great. I love the way you guys do some classes, but the culture is what you make it at your club. Sometimes it's easy to say, hey, why doesn't my club do that? Well, sometimes you got to be the one to start it. And I'm not saying that you don't do that. I think that you do. It's obvious that you like to share what you build and help people out. And I think that will just become infectious, and it will start moving throughout the group. We already stepped into a culture like that, that Bruce has created at Cincy Slots. And then, we went to Butch's track, and Greg and Butch and those guys, were willing to help us. And then we go to the NSR Nationals, and there's a bunch of guys. And then, Andrea from NSR steps in and tunes a car in like 5 minutes. That was probably faster than all of the cars there that weekend. So I think that, it takes some work, but you can get there. Hey, Patrick. Yeah, lots of people in the house. Shout out to Patrick. Patrick, I've been using Fast Laps on this track. Now I'm building the other track. I'm reworking the timing system. I don't want to buy another computer. That's what I'm trying to prevent. But I need another computer so I can do timing in that other area. And I think I've got one lined up, a Windows machine. I have lots of Macs, but I did run Windows on one of my Macs and run Fast Laps, and it actually was pretty good. It was an old Mac, but I really need a dedicated computer for it. So I'm working on that. So I'll be reaching out to let you know about that. But still a lot of laps, a lot of testing here lately, and would love for them to use fast laps at the Eastern Nationals, but that's probably going to take an act of Congress, or maybe we get you to come up and manage some of that race, direct some of that race, so that you know the program inside and out. So what else? Am I missing any? Highway slots. Hey, Marty, the Thunder slot got on Discord with Joe after the live and got his Thunder slot even faster with a few little tweaks. Nice. Yeah, Highway, I have a feeling it wouldn't take much. Once he has the tool to take it apart, then he can get the front end set up and some other things. So, yeah, that thing's going to be a rocket ship. He and Jen are going to have fun. She's going to need one of her own. Joe, there's Joe. Hey, I tuned in at the right time. It was great to have you on. Oh, thanks, man. Managed to squeeze out another 0.1 tenth of a second. Big shout out to Highway. Yeah. Tuning after hours. I love it. Code Cantina. Pour asphalt. Cut in the slots. Make it crazy out the box track. Bryce. Oh, what a tease. Looks awesome. So we'll get to there. We'll get there. So let's talk about things coming up on the channel. So the Nationals. Have lots of ideas from the live stream standpoint. But my biggest challenge is I can't do all of that and race at the same time. And all the guys that I race with, they're like, man, we'll figure it out. We'll help you out. And I appreciate that. And I believe you, and I know that you will. So my cars, I'm going to get them as ready as I possibly can. I just won't have the time to pour into practice and the time to pour in to because of the live stream. So I'm lowering my expectations from last year to this year because I just don't see having the prep time while trying to do the live stream. But Steve from Slot Car Corner, Steve sent me a message 2 weeks ago, and I think I hinted about it, and said, hey, give me a call. I want to talk to you about the live stream and what I might be able to do to help. And Raul has thrown his name out and said, hey, I can come co-host and help you out. I really hate putting somebody else out. But if somebody shows up and says, hey, I want to help with the live stream, I'm going to let them help. Whether that's behind the scenes or whether that's in front of the camera, we'll figure it out. We'll find a place for you if you show up. But Steve Swatel, he said, I would love to co-host with you. And we had somebody else working on that could potentially still make it happen, but I feel like he's feeling some pressure from me. And if they're watching, no pressure, man. If you were able to make it work, that's awesome. But I do not want it to cost you money, and two, I do not want to put you out. So I have some help. But Steve, we had a great conversation today. I finally had a chance to call him this morning. And man, you talk about an encouraging conversation. Steve, if you've never had a conversation with him, great guy. The first time I met him was at the Nationals last year. He came over, sat down in the pits beside me, introduced himself, and said, I've been meaning to meet up with you and talk to you, and I like what you're doing on your channel, and it was just really encouraging, and it was good to meet somebody like that. You know, Steve's kind of a legend in the hobby. He's been doing this a long time. He's got a great brand in the hobby. Does a lot of work. He does a lot of work with George and Harry and Shotgun Dave with the 3A 3D stuff. And so it's been great to help them, sell their stuff and provide a place for that. I'm excited about bringing him on as one of the co-hosts. I will have some racing responsibilities and some marshaling responsibilities as a racer. So there will be times when we'll need other people. And so that's the plan. Steve's going to be kind of my right-hand guy, providing some color commentary as I try to do play-by-play. And we're doing some things to try to help improve the coverage, right? So Steve said, hey, how do you want to take the live stream to the next level? Like what are some things that you think that you need or want to do, and that will enhance the overall race? And so I have some ideas for things that are like race day oriented things. But I think one of the things that we want to do as race organizers and people participating and people who are on the fringe, who are on the fence that said, it's a pretty easy drive for me to get there to Michigan for the Eastern Nationals. But man, tech has me worried. Building a car that can meet tech. Maybe I'm not the best driver. Well, from top to bottom last year, we had a wide range of personalities, a wide range of skill level. And in the end, everyone had fun. And I know that Oliver and Steve and Mike Stott from Cloverleaf, they all are putting their heads together trying to come up with a plan to make the event run even smoother, right? So there's some things that they'll be announcing over the next, coming weeks and months. Although it's next month, so it's coming soon. That will be a big help, and I don't feel like it's my place to talk about it here, but it's exciting. I will tell you that it's like some of the things that they're coming up with are going to be awesome for the event. But I was thinking of like, what can I do before the event to make the coverage for race day even better? And so we're going to do a couple rules breakdown videos, or maybe it's just one, but we're gonna grab a car that qualifies, and we're gonna walk through the rules so that there's a reference. So the rules are out there on Home Racing World, but I'm going to create a video that breaks down this car and says, this is what you can and can't do with this car. These are the tires you can use. This is the guide you can use. This is the braid you can use. This is the screws you can use. We're going to break all that down. And I haven't made some phone calls yet, but that will happen. I think it's me moderating that. I think that we get some experts, whether that's Oliver or Steve or Steve Holzman or Greg Kessler or Mike from The Cave or some of the other top guys, Ben, that races up in Northern Ohio, some of the Cloverleaf guys, Corey and Paul, or like we'll get some other opinions, but we're going to get the interpretation of the rules and how it applies to, what cars can you use? The NSR GT cars. What are some of those that qualify? And then in the classics, what cars can you run in the classics? The other thing I want to do is I want to give new people who might be considering coming to Michigan some of the information that those of us who have been there before already have, right? So that they feel like they're walking in and have a little bit of an idea of what to expect with the Scale Auto track that we're going to be running on. What are some tuning tips for these cars? So maybe we talk about, hey, here's what we did last year with the car. Here's what we learned from Andrea and how, NSR says you should set up their cars. We're going to take information that, the guys learned from preparing, like Dickie and Steve and Matt and Paul, Corey, Greg, Steve, all the guys that were a part of the WRE. Maybe we get Todd, from out west to talk about, things that they did to prepare those cars. But the rule set's different. So we're going to look at the rules. I'm going to post a video in the next couple of weeks that will help anybody who's preparing to come for that race to truly understand the rules. And there are some things that we still need to get clarification on. So we'll get those clarified, and then we will post a video. And that's one of the things I think that we can do beforehand to make the coverage on race day even better, right? One of the other things I want to do, sorry, it's a lot of me talking. Got a lot to talk about tonight. I'll catch up with the chat, I promise. If you got questions, make sure you put a Q on there. But one of the other videos that I'm planning to do as part of this is, after the fact, we want to do a breakdown of the winners' cars, the classic car and the GT car. Maybe it's even the whole podium, right? Maybe it's part of the live stream on race day, but maybe it's something that comes out after a few days, so that it becomes this blueprint of, hey, this was last year's winners, and so we help the bottom end of the field catch up to the front end of the field, and people to have more enjoyment, and maybe we get more racers. The goal, it's crazy to think, but we had, a little over 50 racers last year. Why couldn't that double this year? That's a lofty goal, but there's a lot of guys that live close that choose not to do it because maybe they don't think they can build a car fast enough. Well, maybe we can give them the knowledge and some tools and some tips to help them get closer, right? I think it's a big ask of yourself to show up at a nationals race and say, I'm going to make the podium. Right? There are guys that have been there every year that are still not making the podium. But I think if you set realistic goals in front of yourself, that, hey, I want to finish in the top 50. I want to finish in the top 30. I make those type of goals, and then go chase them, right? But I want to provide some content that helps with that. And I know that that's a lot of race-oriented content. And it's just kind of where I'm at with my channel and with my journey in slot cars right now. One of the other things I want to do, and I want to throw it out here and get some feedback from you guys, whether it's in the chat or you decide to send me, a direct message. I would like to start doing a race report. Now, Dave, you're out there. I do not want to become the product news. I don't want to become slot car news, but I would like to do a race report. Whether it's weekly might be a lot to bite off, a lot to chew, but maybe once or twice a month, where clubs out there can report their races someplace, and then I can take that information and put it out there. So I want to provide a space for guys that are in the club scene, that are racing, that are the fast guys every week, or up and coming drivers that are getting better and faster every time we see them out. And so it would be kind of like a race report. Hey, this week at Motown, this is what happened. And I know that Jim is the closest thing that we have, but he covers NorCal. And so I'm thinking that I could partner with, somebody like Jim Rose, who's already doing that for Northern California, and we start making that across the states. And compliments to Marco at Electric Dreams and Carlos, and providing such great coverage. They've created a place where somebody's legend can grow a little bit, for lack of a better term. Ian and Todd and Rick Jocham and Jim Rose, and those have become names that we've talked a lot about. Braden Pollard and Herman, and there's a lot of guys that are well known in the California area because they're local to that. and they know, people know who they are as slot car racers. When I was a kid, when I was in RC, I would get the RC Car Action magazine, and I would learn about these RC car racers, that were more on a national level. And it gave me people to strive to be like. It gave me mentors that I could, study and learn their driving tendencies and how to model some of the things that I could do that they were doing, right? Joel Johnson was a big guy for me as a kid racing RC cars, because I was watching what he was doing. There were lots of names, right? And the magazine was a way for that to happen. Well, I think that like a racing report, a couple times a month YouTube magazine, basically, that said, hey, here's the race report from Motown. Here's the race report from Cincy Slots from last Thursday. Here's who finished on the podium in this class and this class. Just quick updates so guys can get some recognition for doing a great job and having fun and being fast and focused on their racing. So it gives them a place to maybe gain some notoriety, but more important that just says, hey, this club is racing, and maybe it's a way for people to find clubs to go race at. And so I know it's going to take a lot of work. I know it's going to take a lot of collaboration. But, I could see it going, hey, Jim Rose has got the report for the California area. And, hey, Warren has the report for, up in Canada. And then, or, however that works. And so that's kind of my idea. It's additional content. I don't know if it goes on my channel or if it's a whole nother channel. That's still to be determined. But I think my plan is to do a proof of concept video that I'll post out there and just get an idea of what guys think. And then, talking to Oliver is like, it would be great to do, little snippets that maybe Professor Motor sponsors by saying, hey, here's your tech tip of the week, or some things like that. So we've got some other ideas to provide just different types of content that meets people in the hobby where they are, right? So we've got beginner content, we've got intermediate content, we've got the advanced content for racers, we've got all that. We've got news from Dave, at Slot Car News, from a product standpoint, and then we've got race reports from all around the country of people who are winning at their home tracks, and that could be any size club. It could be even home track racing could be a part of that report, and I just think that might be fun. It might be too much to handle. I don't know what I'm getting myself into there, but give me an idea. What do you think that would be worthwhile? Would be something you would be interested in watching? But I think that, there are guys out there like Steve Holzman and Greg Kessler who, have performed well, Team Grizzly with the endurance racing, the guys, Rob up in Calgary, up in Canada, and like what happened in the Canadian Nationals, get a little coverage, right? And I'm not trying to be ESPN, but I think that those clubs deserve an avenue to get their names out, right? And celebrate their winners. And that's what I'm thinking of trying to do. So give me your feedback. Let me know your thoughts. I'm gonna scroll. Chris, thanks. Hey, Pat, thanks. That was easy to manipulate him to show us. Yeah, easy. It doesn't take much. I'm easy, George. I'm easy. I love you guys, and I love to talk about your products. So yeah, you send me something to put on air, I'll put it on air. Don't you worry. I believe in what you're doing. You know that already. Let's see what else, guys. If I miss a question, I apologize. I'm scrolling through a lot. Jeffrey says, great idea. You should do a tuning episode. Hey, Larry, there's much that can be learned from this group. Larry, I agree, and we've been doing tuning videos, right? But I think that the specific breakdown of winning cars, like what are people doing, what is the basic tuner missing when they tune? Because a lot of my tuning videos are like, hey, here's my baseline tune that I do with every car before I throw it on the track, and then I start tweaking different things, right, to get it to run better. But that's different than what I'm preparing a car for the Nationals. Like, I'm going to go to the nth degree compared to just my regular slot cars, right? But Larry's right. I think that there's an opportunity for us to show more content like that. And that's not necessarily me, but it's, breaking down the winning cars with the driver, the person who actually tuned the car, and getting their ideas and their concepts, I think will be great. So that's the plan. Thanks, Larry. Yep. Congrats to Gary on the win last week. The Revo slot. Nice stuff. Oscar has great swag. I agree. I've got it all over my track. Like I have, right, you can't see it. Slot Invasion sticker right there. Yeah. You're right, Dave. He does. I'm juggling 40 things at once. Sean, we're the same person, dude. I have got so many balls in the air from juggling. Oh yeah, complete awesomeness from Slot Invasion. Dave, Oscar's, he's the man. Does great stuff. Big things coming from this group. Yeah, Greg, you're a big part of that, man. You motivate me, and you become a great friend, and I appreciate you. Just putting that out there. But I agree. There are some good things coming, with lots of hands in it. It's not just like one person trying to do it. It's a group of people really trying to make a difference in the hobby. Joey Boots, for Scalextric track, look no further than Slotting Plus. Slot Invasion guides are excellent for sure, but they need to be reshaped to work in Scaly. Yeah, they're a little thick for Scaly. John, I'm glad you mentioned that. I was just referring to my track that I'm running on, my Carrera track. Those guides are excellent for Carrera track. So much better than the stock guide. But for Scaly, I've run into that. Some of the Slot Invasion, depending on what kind of car you're running, have a little thicker guide to them, and some of those tighter turns. Now, on my new layout that I haven't really talked about, that I gave you guys a little sneak peek. Let me see if it's still there. Nope, wrong one. There it is. I don't know if you can tell by the picture what it is. It's Polycar. And shout out to Warren at Litech. I think I talked about this on a previous live stream, but Warren had some of this for sale. Was able to meet up with him when we were at Professor Motor, and we made it happen. The Slot Invasion guides work great on Polycar track. I've not had any issues. NSR guides work great, but you do get a little bit of click from them, not in the straights, but in the turns. And so I haven't done a lot of testing. I haven't run a lot of laps, but John, thanks for that. For Joey, yeah, it just really depends on what you're looking at. I make borders track barriers from plastic honeycomb type signs realtors use to post on people's lawns. Strong and really easy to use. I agree. I forget what that's called. It's not foam core. It's it's like plastic cardboard, right? The way it's made is the same way cardboard's made. That stuff does a really nice job, and it's pretty easy to work with. It's easy to cut with the razor blade. And it doesn't have, the one thing about the heavier PVC lattice is that it's got a lot of spring to it. So as you wrap it around a turn, you got to have a way to secure it. Just sticking it to the track is probably not going to hold, because it does have a bit of tension, and that board has a lot less because it will kind of bend. Dave, I've got some CNC machined wheels coming for that square body. Nice. Rob, Marty, you like plastic because you don't like going fast. Yeah, I love going slow, Rob. It's slow as me. That's who I am. Let's see. Bruce asked George a question. There's your answer, Bruce. Not yet, but we will be very soon. Michael, lurking here. Michael, thanks for lurking. I appreciate you being there. Those guide adapters work great. Yeah, I can't wait to get one installed, Joe. One, they're just like, they are well machined, beautifully crafted parts. I'm just pretty impressed with them. Murphy, hey everyone. Thanks for, there's Dickie. The Slot Invasion adapter looks really good. Just be aware some clubs don't allow aftermarket metal parts. Right. Yeah, you just have to check your rules. But, for your home track, play around with one. Check them out. See what you think. Have new 3D printer, like to try slot items. Bruce, I am so close to dabbling in 3D printing. The 3A 3D guys, they just tempt me with everything that they post and put out there. It would just be nice to be able to print some of my own stuff because I've got ideas too. The only thing to love about Carrera is their detailed bodies. Yeah, they've got some great stuff. Those NASCARs, the new NASCARs, they may have replaced my 917 as my favorite Carrera car. I really love that new NASCAR. I think, Harry talked about how important that car was for the hobby, no doubt. And it performs great. Bobcat, shout out to Bob. Bob hooked me up with some tires for that. And we ran those urethanes on the wood track, because that's what we run on the wood oval is urethanes. And then when we brought it over here, Pamela hooked me up with some super tires that fit fantastic. And that car is good on this track. Really, really good. So, yeah. It's kind of cheap. Looking forward to it. Thank you. Joey, thanks. John took care of you with the Scaly. I'm way behind on comments. It works great. I installed one on a Carrera NASCAR. That's what I'm going to install mine on. Which one does the NASCAR take, George? Does it take the back or the front mount? I haven't opened one up yet. Slot Invasion, the official guide of 3A 3D. That's right. Hey, Tad. Thanks for joining, man. Cheers, guys. Had a tough time. There has been some shenanigans. Unfortunately, might have to cost me. And had a grub screw go through my F1, costing me 2 heats. Oh, man. No worries, Nick. Take care, bro. Thanks for tuning in. If you are south of the equator, show us your slots. Has Slot Invasion parts. Nice. Thanks, Lotus. Appreciate that. Sometimes I forget that not everybody here is in the U.S. So I appreciate you guys throwing out there. Did I miss the setup block information on the orange unit on your left? Larry, no. I posted a video on Saturday about this setup block and just a quick review, and then I'm giving a few of these away. The guys from 3A 3D were kind enough to send me a few to give away for free. So next week we're going to let it run for a week. Next week I'm going to announce a few winners of these setup blocks. So you got a chance. All you have to do is go out to the video and comment what you would do with the slot, with the setup block, or if you comment, in here, I'll pick up those comments as well. Yeah. This is where the cool kids hang out. I don't know about that, but we got some cool guys in here. Don't forget to hit the like. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. Hey, Fox and Wolves. I saw you in the chat. Didn't have a chance to shout out to you. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. Dumb question. No dumb questions. Only questions not asked. Have you tried running your oval track scratch build cars on the road course? Jerry, yes. I always do. I can't help myself. But the urethanes don't work great on the Carrera track, so they're a little loose. But I plan on trying them on the new layout because the Polycar track has a lot of grip. And so we're going to see how those, Gregory, the brass master, there you go. So we're going to try them out there. So yes, going from 2 to 4 lane in the basement. I am a fan. I am sold on 4 lanes. Now I know it limits. It takes up a lot of space. But I'm a fan. I love just the side by side race action. And, most of the time I have like 3 people, and I know guys says you can do digital. But we're so into NSRs and Slottits and Revo slots and Thunder slot and some of the analog cars right now. We bring the NASCAR, the new Carrera NASCARs out, and then we'll run digital. But we usually run those on the oval, which is not digital. But yeah, going to 4 lane, I've not looked back. I love it. Rerun says, love slot invasion guides. Use them for all of my slot cars. Yep, I do too. What else do we have? Taking down my 2 lane and rebuilding the 4 lane in the basement this winter should be fun. Looking for ideas on controllers. Thanks. So Timothy, that's a great question or a comment. I actually have 4 different controllers right now, and I'm going to do kind of a controller showdown video. It's one of the things I'm working on now with a DeFalco and an MK15, which is the new one I just purchased. And the DS, which is super popular right now because it's a great controller. And then maybe I look at the Slottit because we have one of those available here. And I don't know. We'll see what else we can grab. But I want to do like a pros and cons for all of them because they all have pros and they all have cons. But hopefully, that would help. Price point is a big decision maker for a lot of people. And I've been having a lot of conversation with Steve Howie. I don't know if Steve's in the chat tonight, but Steve has been building his own networks for the DeFalco. And I'm super fascinated with some of the curves that he's created. And so I'm going to have him come on and we're going to talk networks for the DeFalco. And I'm probably going to post that as a regular video, not a live stream, because I want it to be an easy resource for people to find. And because I think it will be, there's a lot of DeFalco controllers out there. A lot of guys love their DeFalco. They love the feel of it. But creating some very intricate networks can really give you an advantage on the track. And if you cater it to some of your driving tendencies, you can really dial in your controller for the way you drive between the network and the knobs and how those work together. So Steve is going to come. He wrote a white paper that he sent me the other day, and I've read through it 4 or 5 times, and it's just really explains how controllers work. A lot of people don't understand ohms, and that as you pull the trigger, the ohms drop. And so when you're full trigger, you're at 0 ohms, and that you can manipulate that network on the DeFalco controller to create, instead of that trigger pull being linear, you can create a curve, which is what some of the digital, like Slottit and the DS, they do, is create a curve instead of a linear pull. But Steve has gotten really creative with the way he's placed the resistors in the network. That really worked well at the endurance race. He was super fast through the highly technical piece. And my question was like, okay, what are you doing? And so he explained it all. So we're going to bring Steve on and talk about that. If anybody's interested, let me know in the chat that you're interested in knowing about the networking. Some people don't care about the network, but I think that you should care because that can really go a long way to helping people do better. Now, Daryl Daryl has lost his DeFalco controller, and so we're in search of Daryl's DeFalco controller. It has a purple handle. I'm guessing that it's buried someplace in Daryl's garage or with his slot car stuff, and he needs to organize and find it. But I tell you what, the one day I start cooking supper because I figure Marty will be late at exactly 8. I didn't mess around tonight, Daryl. Did not mess around. George says Professor motor controllers are a good deal. Yes, they are. I will say this though. I think that they are great entry level beginner home track controllers. For the money, you can't beat them. DS makes a good cheap controller, but the biggest question I see a lot of people ask is like, well, what ohm rating do I want in a controller, in some of those low end controllers? I think if you can just spend a little bit more money and get a sensitivity knob and a braking knob to be able, it's worth every penny to be able to control your car a little more to your driving style. But George is right. Professor Motor makes those, and they are great deals. So, yep, don't overlook them. Zachary Hampton. Yeah, you don't have to spend $500 on a controller. Hear me when I say that. I won my first race with my very first DeFalco. And I still love using my DeFalco. I love the feel of it. I can throw my car around with that controller. I'm very confident with that controller. But man, the MK15, that thing was butter on the track at the endurance race. It was butter. I mean, it just smooth, and I felt like I had lots of control of the car. So, hey, Zach, thanks for tuning in, man. Yeah, just for others to use, but I would spring for a more adjustable for my own. Timothy, that's exactly what those controllers are for. If you go to a 4-lane and you need 4 controllers, drop decent money on your controller and put everybody else in loaners, right? That's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. It gets expensive buying 4 controllers. So, Murphy says, I heard Thunder Slot. I mentioned anyone knows what type of screwdriver I would need to remove the chassis. Murphy, the T6 bit is what you need for Thunder Slot screws. The T6 hex, or it's like a star, actually. T6. Hopefully somebody already put that in the... Tim, interested in your layout ideas. I'm assuming you are going Carrera. Keep going back and forth from 2 to 4. If anybody needs some 4-lane ideas, I probably have a bunch of designs, but most of them are 24-foot tables that are 8 feet wide. So if that doesn't fit your needs, then I'm not sure I have a lot. But you could look at my plan and take some prompts from it, right? So let me know if somebody needs it. I subscribe to your channel, Hillbilly. Nice. I think I did too last week or a week before, Hillbilly. Slot Car Corner Steve's helping out on the live stream. Yeah. Yeah, so Dickie, we're expecting you to jump in there as well. I'm just teasing. I expect you to be racing. You're going for the win, Dickie, at the Nationals. But yeah, Steve's going to jump in and help. I'm super excited about that. It'll be fun having him next to me. We can converse. But, that's one of the things, man, I feel like I'm jumping all over the place. But that's one of the things we want to add to it is this conversation. Shout out to my buddy Josh. Josh stepped in at the endurance race. Greg stepped in at the endurance race. Daniel stepped in at the endurance race. Joe stepped in and knocked it out of the park. Those guys joined me, and we were able to just talk and help fill some time, but really talk about the race and their thoughts on the track and the layouts and the cars and what was happening. And and it was great insight. And we're going to continue to do that and bring more. One of the things I want to add is, let's talk to the heat winners at the end of each heat. Have a sideline reporter with a wireless mic going, "Hey, Daniel, when you win your heat, he'll interview you. Dusty, when you win your heat, he'll interview you." Right? Daryl, when you come up and you win your heat, the sideline reporter. So I was thinking maybe Aaron Andrews. Maybe we can bring, what's the girl that worked on the NFL? She was at ESPN. She recently retired. She's married to the Minnesota Viking quarterback. She's a pretty good sideline reporter. Maybe we can bring her out of retirement and cover slot cars. I don't know. We'll find somebody. Maybe it's Dickie. Steve Swatell will work and does work with everybody. One of the greatest guys in life, period. Yeah, my conversation today. So I had a conversation with Steve from Slot Car Corner. I had a conversation with Oliver from Professor Motor. I had 2 more slot car oriented conversations that hopefully I can talk about in a few weeks that I'm super excited about. And it was all random. Like I was getting text messages. "Hey, you got time for a call?" My phone rang. "Hey, you got time to talk?" "Hey, so-and-so gave me your phone number and you don't know me, but I work with so-and-so and we have some ideas. Maybe we can partner with you. Hey, we're going to do this event and it would be cool if you might be one of the people to be a part of it." And then Oliver talked to me about a couple of things that he's aware of, and it was just a great day. But yeah, Steve was a great conversation. He really gave me some encouragement. So, hey, Dennis. Looks like Denny is ready to race tomorrow night. I apologize, guys. I am so far behind in the chat. Daryl says, "At least Marty didn't show up Thursday to push me further down the finishing order. Dusty did it for him." Daryl, self-deprecation is your spiritual gift. KR, it's soggy here in Ohio too. Anybody going to be at Quakertown Slot Show this Saturday? I'm not going to be, but I wish we had a slot car show near us. Is popular in the U.S. collecting limited edition cars, and is it worth reselling after a few years, particularly unboxed purchases? Sorry, long question. I think there's a lot of collectors here in the United States. I think that if you collect limited edition stuff and you don't open the boxes and you keep that stuff, I think it appreciates in value. How much, I don't know. But there are people who want to buy stuff like that. Last night in the chat, T-Slots, I think, in the chat, has 6 or 7 Thunder slots that he's in search of to finish the entire Thunder slot collection. And I was like, wow, you're probably going to pay some money. But those cars are out there. You just kind of have to look for them. So Daryl 117 and 70 likes. We're growing. 121.84 is what I'm seeing. That's awesome. And this is the biggest night we've had in a long time. Ask Steve about beating me in Group C with 0 grips on the back of his car. Steve sent me a message. Our buddy Steve, he was too busy taking care of Marty, a new racer at the track, preparing a car for him, that he was in a hurry and put new tires on the back of his car, and he put 0 grips on the rear. It happens to all of us. The problem is that Steve was probably still like middle of the pack with a car like that because the dude can drive. Nationals racing, you need to make sure you ask a lot of questions and make sure you completely understand the rules. I just found sometimes they can be just guidelines. Nick, I agree. I think that that's what we're trying to prevent is people getting there going, oh, I didn't know you could do that, because they didn't ask enough questions. And so we're going to try to clarify all of that. And I'm hoping to work on that video. I don't know when I'm going to have time to work on this stuff, but I think it's such a good idea that it has to get done. But I'm going to ask for help, which is something I'm not great at, but I'm going to. So we're going to make that video happen because I think it's important. And I want it to be early enough that people have time to watch the video, study the rules, ask a few more questions if that's needed, while they have time before they get to the race. As Smokey would say, it's only against the rules if you get caught. Rules? There's rules at the Nationals? Rules? We don't need no stinking rules. George, beat me to it. Vámonos, muchachos. I love that movie. Badges? We don't need no stinking badges. It's a great movie. Great movie. Oldie, but love it. Watching only 50%. Push like. Thanks, Steve. Question, race reports for club races as well as national? Yes, KR. Especially club races. I want to clarify. That is the focus of it. I want it to be dedicated. I mean, you don't have nationals races every weekend, but you've got club races every week, right? So I think that it needs to be about the local club scene, wherever the local club scene is. And so, I mean, it might get to the point where the report's so big because there's 30, 40 clubs reporting their podiums each week. That would be awesome. But that's what I think it needs to be. I think people need to know that KR Bridges is the fast guy if they show up in Western PA, right? And I think that, how do people know that? Well, there's no magazine that talks about the club racing. There's no channel that's dedicated to it unless the club does a good job with their Facebook. But, I think we can do more. And that's what I'm thinking. So Daryl, it's called nerfing, not bumping. It builds up morale too within these clubs. Hillbilly, exactly. I think that, you have some young kid that shows up and gets his first win, and some YouTube channel is talking about him, about, hey, got his first win at, whatever the club is, and somebody else being excited for him. How does that make him feel? Right? That's got to be encouraging, and that's promotion, and ultimately it's good for the hobby. And that's the whole goal. It's not about making people famous. We're grown men playing with toy cars. But in the niche of slot cars, today was a shot in the arm to me. I felt like I had a name in the hobby, right? That the work I've done the last 3 years started paying off. And I think that other people are doing more, and there's just no channel for them. There's no avenue for them. And maybe this becomes that, right? And ultimately, all of it, I love it. MFESPN. I have questions of what that means, George, but right? I think that Dave Kennedy does an awesome job of promoting products for like Oscar and Slot Invasion and Carrera and Skeletric and anybody else that sends him something to review, and even if they don't, he's talking about the new models of cars coming out. Anything that's news, he's sharing that, and that's paying huge dividends for the hobby. People come to Dave on Fridays, like I do every Friday, and say, what's new in the hobby? Because, that's not something you're going to see in the newspaper or in a magazine anymore. So we have to rely on some source, and Dave is a source that we trust because he has, reporting integrity. That's important to him. And I guess this is just something else from a racing standpoint that we can do to help promote. Two Line Sports Network, MFESPN. I love it. Easy like Sunday, Tuesday evening. Ernest, I am coming to Florida the last week, 23rd through I don't know what the last day is. Yep. We will be down near Clearwater, actually. We will be in St. Pete Beach, actually Paso Girl Beach. Got some relatives that live down there, and we're going to go visit. Jerry said, wouldn't a section on Home Racing World be able to handle a club results? Jerry, yes, it can. And I believe that some of that happens on Home Racing World. It would definitely be a resource, but a lot of people don't want to go read. They would rather watch a video about that kind of information. I'm in the forums all the time for information. It's where I find out the rules for the Nationals races. It's where I find out how to, tune a Carrera car. It's where I find how to wire my track for controllers and the diagrams for that. We go to Home Racing World forums for lots of things. I'm not trying to replace that. And Jerry, in a forum, you're relying on everyone else to post there. This responsibility would fall on one person or a handful of people if I collaborated with some other channels to collect that information and report it. I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen. I'm just throwing the idea out and say, would it be something people would be interested in? But it's a great question. I appreciate that. Getting dunkled for Home Racing World is a term at the Oval. Yeah, I like the term dunkled. Chris, you and Freighter need to come down to Cincy Slots one night. You guys, I get the text notifications from the text group I'm in on my computer. It slides in, but I see that. That was good, Greg. Michael, I might go there to the Eastern for 8 hours out by my car. Need to learn, even if I was heavy involved in European wing cars as I grew up. Interesting. You're only 8 hours by car. Yeah, I mean, that's a good drive. But we have guys that come further for that race. Michael, you show up, you'll race. Warren showed up last year and didn't race, and I think he regrets it now. Maybe we can get him to race this year if he's watching this. Hey, Marty, tuning is what works for you and your style of driving and tracks you race on. Yeah, Highway, you're right. Every track is different. George, from the day I met him, has always said, tune for your track, right? And so, but I think that the concepts are, regardless of the track, are similar, right? Cleaning the chassis, removing all of the flashing, all of those things add up. And when we were chatting at the endurance race at dinner, somebody, I do not know who quoted this, maybe it was Smokey-O, and I'm going to paraphrase this, but it's all those little things add up to big things, right? And that's the Marty Ford paraphrase of that. But all these little things like, polishing your axles and keeping, things clean and oiled and all those things, as little as they seem, they all add up. So Highway, I agree. Steve wants to know, Dusty, is the first coat done? Gosh, it's 9:34. Where did this hour and a half go? Morning, everyone. I hope you are all good and well. If there's anything you need from the UK, please give me a message or shout out. Cool. I don't think I need anything. I probably need to send something to the UK and not, somebody doesn't get charged too much money. I usually go, but I have to work this weekend, but I could call out. Oh, Quakertown. Gotcha. That's cool. Hey, Vera. Core Flute. Is that what that product's called? Thanks, Vera. R8. Did someone mention cardboard? That would have been me. It'd be cool to meet some of you at Quakertown. It's a 6-hour drive for me. The material is called Coroplast, highly used in sign making. Thanks, Bryce. Yeah, I couldn't remember what it was called. Late to the chat, but this is where it's at. Slot Car Bro, thanks. I appreciate that. We are an hour and 35 minutes in, and I should be wrapping up, but I feel like I'm only like halfway done. I guess I should show you the new printer. Oh, yeah. You already have. George, when you're ready to talk about that, I would love to have you come on and talk about it, because you kind of beat me to the punch, because it was something that I was trying to figure out how to do myself. I still might do it. But George made an announcement about on his channel about some things he's got coming. It's going to be pretty cool. What else? Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Hey, again, Slot Invasion kit as bad as could be on Scaly. A little file and Dremel work is needed for them to work. Gotcha. Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah, a little Dremel work and you can make them work. Thanks, B-Rads. What else? Rampage, love the setup block. Yeah, Rampage, there you go. Qualify to win. You might win one. And we're not giving away just one. We're giving away 2 or 3 of them, I think, and some great looking colors. So, Patrick, what's up? Cutting down a tree in the front yard. I cannot tell a lie. I chopped down the cherry tree, right? And what, apple tree? I can't remember what it was. Cherry tree? The old tail. I just received my 2 3D printed trucks from Slot Car Corner. Can't wait to get them up and running. Murphy, that's awesome. I'm ready to order one of the rabbits that the guys are making. Shotgun Dave killed it. As much as I love this car, the Beetle, the Rabbit just looks incredible. Well done. It's great to have room for 3 or 4 lanes. I've got 2 4-lane tracks now. Actually, I have 3 4-lane tracks down here in this basement. I don't have room for 3, but I've made it work. Marty, the axle kit from Slot Car Corner for the Carrera cars are a great hop up. Yeah, I know they are. I've used the DTM hop up kit, and it was great. So, is there any thoughts or ideas on the new NSR car coming out? I'm going for a brushless hypercar. So, NSR already did a hypercar, and it did not go over really well. So that's my thought on the hypercar. Greg and I talked about that on the endurance weekend. I really have no thoughts. Whether it's a new GT car, I don't see them doing a new classic car, or if it's a whole new car, like something. I don't see them doing a Ferrari. I don't know. I don't have a great read on what that car is going to be. I'm excited to hear them announce it. Hopefully they start giving us some hints that we can have more to talk about on the live stream about it. But 3D printers are great for printing figures. The Slot Car Corner kit fit the GTY Mustang? That's a good question. I do not know. George doesn't think so. Trimmed down, pre-primed bevel casing makes for excellent K-rails down the straights. If I missed your comment, I apologize. Wait, Brad, it's for the GT cars, so yeah, it should work. I have to say, no one has done a great job of explaining ohms, volts, amps, or controllers for dummies. It's definitely one of the most frustrating things for people who are not electrical nerds. Sean, that's why I think that I need to do this video with Steve. So Steve and I were talking about it today a little bit, and we're going to make that happen. So it'll be a complete breakdown so people understand, and he'll release the white paper that he wrote for it, which I think is phenomenal. So we'll get that posted out on like Home Racing World, or even like as a Google Doc, so people can download it and have it, so they can keep referring to it, because it's information we don't want lost. It's information that's out there, but maybe Steve has told it in a way that it made perfect sense after reading it. And I had some confusion, I'll be honest. When I'm reviewing a controller, there are some things about I don't understand how it works. It just works. And his white paper really, really spelled it out well. Oh, yeah, we'll make that happen, Dickie. Thanks. But I don't want to take away from your racing. So, hey, Hub. Late again, but that's all right, man. You got to work. I know you'll catch up. I always appreciate you tuning in. There's a group of slot car guys in Australia that, man, it would be awesome to get a chance to meet you guys. At some point, we'll have to figure out how to make that happen. You and Hughes and, Dave and it just, I think there's a bunch of you that we would have a lot of fun if we gathered, and we gather in Pat's name and remember him. But, you don't want to ask for help because you can do it better. Sometimes that's what my head says, and then my hands don't prove that right. Chewing gum in line. Daryl, I loaned Marty P a car, and that's why I finished last. Howie is a mad scientist. Yeah, I agree. Man, I'm just now catching up with those. The grandkids were showing everyone the video you did of them racing at Cincy Slots. They were so proud to be on YouTube. That's great. I'm glad they did, Daryl. Daryl, we need to do a live stream from Cincy Slots, 1 week for racing. I'll bring my stuff, set up a couple cameras, and I'll do a live stream and commentary the whole night, because I know almost everybody that goes. And so I can talk about each racer that's up. There are only 2 at a time. I think it would be great practice, but I think it would be fun. So I'm going to check with Bruce to see if we can make that happen. I'll take a Thursday off and get down there early so I can get set up, and then we'll go from there. We will be the new NASCAR. There you go, Steve. We should have new NASCAR liveries coming soon. Some old slot cars are desirable, others less so if you don't want advertise and see. There you go. That's the only way you find out, right? Yeah, there's always somebody looking for a certain slot car. Be great to help with club locators for different areas, and how to link with them. There is a section of Home Racing World out there. Raul was working on a Google map that put clubs and slot car oriented things on a map. That's probably still out there. But there was some concern that was double work. And so I think he kind of stopped that project, but, yeah. Let me see, make sure I'm not missing anything, guys. I apologize. I know I'm running late. It's 9:44. I want to wrap things up. I still need to go get some steps in, but it's been raining the entire day, so I don't know if it's still raining. I probably won't. But I did want to I'm going to do a video on the track build, but I'm going to run over and run a few laps on the new track. Oh, wrong track. There we go. And if you give me just a second, I'll run over there. Let's see what car we're going to run. Let me make sure. I need to turn the track on first. Hey, Alexa, turn on Two Lines Oval. There we go. Track is on. Okay. Oops. I need to throw my wireless mic on. Hold on. Maybe I'm not as ready as I thought I was. Okay, check 1 2, test 1 2 3. Do you have me? Check 1, check 1. Yes, you do. Okay. Hopefully you'll still have audio. We're going to run the Thunder Slot Ferrari. I've got the MK15 plugged in. The table is 16 feet long and about 6 feet wide. It's made up of R3, R2 turns and then some R2, R1s. So through the tight and the curves here in the inside, there's a bunch of R1s and R2s. There is actually an R4 and R3 turn in there. The next thing I need to do is set up timing. And so I'll probably work on that tonight a little bit and maybe this weekend. But yeah, it's a fun little running this outside lane. You're on the outside all the way around. Like to ride up high because he's not afraid to die. So hopefully you guys can still hear me. So that's the Thunder Slot. Let's try the Lola. I do have the driver stations pretty much done. I want to install XLRs. So I've got that. I need to put a microphone over here because I doubt that this mic is reaching all the way. From a grip standpoint, the Polycar, it has a lot more grip than Carrera. These are silicone tires. Everybody says silicone doesn't work on Polycar. I would say that these cars are not bad. They're not bad at all. So there's that. Let's go to the 908. And, oops. It's got to be in the slot before it'll work. Ooh, dirty tires. That's clean. Oh, yeah. So, my first initial thoughts on the Polycar, I love it. It's very grippy. It's got great texture. I think you can use just stock rubber tires and the car performs really well. I think the tires are the great equalizer for the beginner. If you can figure tires out, you can have fun running a slot car. And so that's NSRs. in Thunder slots, and let's run one last car here. And I'm going to move to the inside lane. So let's see how this goes. Actually, I'm going to move to the orange lane. So slot at Group C. Oh, my first D slot. Look at that. A little longer car. Ooh, overdrove that a little bit. There you go, not bad. Not bad at all. So hopefully you guys could hear me. Sometimes that mic gets there, sometimes it doesn't. We'll wrap things up for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, so that's a new Polycar track. 4-lane, it's really a test track. I want to do some content on it, and we'll see how long it lasts. I'm thinking maybe 2 or 3 months. It's really tight in there. I don't have room for both of those tracks. And really enjoy either one of them. So I'll probably use it for 3 or 4 months, and then maybe I'll sell it. I don't know. It really depends on what happens. But yeah, my other plan, last thing before we leave tonight, I'm going to do a track shootout: Carrera versus Polycar versus Scale Auto versus Scaley. I think that just giving people the idea of the pros of all of them, because I'll be honest with you, I've raced on all of them at this point, and I like them all. There's no bad track, I don't think. I think you have to look at your space that you have, that you're building a track in. Maybe look at what you race on at your club, if you do race at a club. And, the Carrera track, that's what we race at Cincy. I want to, obviously want to stay there so that we can be prepared for those races. But the Polycar is going to be fun. And so we're going to have some fun with it and then see where it goes. So we'll race on it for a few months. Have some guys over. I plan on hosting a race here before the holidays. And so we'll get an idea of what everybody thinks and have some fun on it. And then who knows what will happen next. So let me see if there's missed any questions. They all add up. Yeah, Chris, you're right. Grown man, speak for yourself. That's right. Wow. I missed a lot. Chillicothe Raceway. I hear you. My Alexa was talking too. Heard what Marty said. That's great. If that's all, Tri-Track Raceway. Yeah, I haven't come up with a name. That's I appreciate the name shout outs there. But guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. Rip the inside lane. Yeah, there you go, Joe. I have Polycar. Tires work great on it. Yeah. Loving the drifting. Yeah, Gale Force. I got a little tuning to do. We got to pull some of that out. But guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. If I missed your question, I apologize. We'll catch up next week. And, as always, like I say, go have some fun racing. Sean, I hope that's a good bad. Go have fun racing, guys.